A few months ago, an older patient told me something that stopped me cold. She'd walked into her kitchen just to grab a glass of water, and the next thing she remembered was waking up on the floor. No dizziness, no warning, just one wrong step in the wrong spot. But here's the surprising part. The cause wasn't weakness or age, it was the location she was standing in. A spot in her own home she never realized was dangerous until it failed her. And yet, with one small change, just a tiny habit, she hasn't had another close call since. I'm Dr. Howard Tucker, longevity doctor, neurologist. And after decades of treating seniors, I can promise you this. What hurts most adults over 60 isn't outside the home. It's inside. The places you trust, the rooms you move through automatically. The split-second moments where familiarity creates blindness. Today, on the Best Life Senior podcast, I'm joined by someone who understands this pattern better than anyone. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, Japanese physician, longevity pioneer, and a man who spent more than a century helping adults avoid emergencies long before they happen. His insight has guided hospitals, families, and entire communities. Yet the wisdom always comes back to something incredibly simple. Small changes prevent big emergencies. Doctor, welcome back. And here's what we're diving into today. There are 3 specific spots in nearly every senior's home where the majority of emergencies quietly happen. Not because seniors are fragile, not because age steals strength, but because these areas create a perfect storm of physics, vision, and split-second misjudgment. Studies from Japan, the US, and Europe are now showing the same pattern again and again. Seniors aren't falling randomly. They're falling from predictably dangerous points in the home. And when you know where those points are, everything changes. Because here's the uplifting truth. These risks aren't permanent. They're adjustable. In this episode, we're going to break down the hidden triggers in those 3 danger zones. We'll talk about what creates the emergency, how your body reacts in those exact moments, and the small, science-backed fixes that protect your vision, balance, and reaction time inside those spaces. Just like we've done in our previous episodes on circulation, mobility, memory rituals, and posture realignment. If you stay with us until the end, you'll walk away knowing something most seniors never learn. Your home isn't unsafe. It's just unoptimized. And when you know what to adjust, you can move with confidence again. Lightness instead of hesitation. Security instead of fear. Let's get started. Doctor, I want to start with something simple but alarming. Most seniors think emergencies happen outside the home, crossing a street, walking in winter, climbing stairs. But the data we've seen for years says the opposite. The danger lives inside the rooms we use the most. Kitchens, bathrooms, hallways. And when I talk to patients, they always say the same thing. I didn't even see it coming. So let me ask you this. Why do these familiar spaces become so risky after 60?
Because familiarity creates a kind of blindness, John. After 60, balance shifts, vision changes, reaction time slows, but the brain still behaves as if the home is the same safe place it was at 40. That mismatch between memory and biology is where danger begins. And research in Japan and the US confirms this pattern repeatedly. Seniors aren't falling from weakness alone. They're falling because their homes haven't been updated to match their bodies. It's not aging failing them. It's the environment pulling ahead too fast.
That makes perfect sense. I see this every week. A patient tells me they tripped in the hallway, slipped in the bathroom, or got dizzy in the kitchen. They blame age. But when I look closer, it's usually lighting, surfaces, or body position that creates the perfect storm. And what really strikes me is how predictable these danger zones are. They show up again and again, just like the circulation issues we've talked about on this show, and the posture shifts we see in seniors who don't even realize their spine has changed shape over time. It's all connected.
Exactly. And that's the key. Emergencies after 60 are rarely random. They're the result of small, overlooked details. A slippery surface, a sudden head turn, a dim light, a moment of dehydration. And the body, already working harder to maintain equilibrium, can't compensate quickly enough. But here's the uplifting part. When you fix the environment, the body performs better instantly. There's no waiting weeks for results. You change one small detail and the risk drops dramatically.
That's the part I love. We're not talking about exercise routines or complicated habits today. We're talking about small, precise adjustments that give seniors immediate protection. And I want people listening to understand this clearly. You're not helpless. You're not fragile. You're just walking through rooms that were designed for a younger version of you. Update the room and your confidence comes back.
Yes, and confidence, especially after 60, is medicine. When a senior feels secure in their own home, their blood pressure stabilizes, their balance improves, their breathing deepens. We saw this in our circulation episode. When the environment supports the body responds with strength, not fear. Today we're applying that same principle to the home. 3 locations, 3 hidden triggers, 3 simple solutions.
I love that you said hidden triggers because that's exactly what we're uncovering. These danger points are so predictable, they almost form a pattern across every household I visit. Seniors tell me, I've lived here for 30 years, nothing has changed. But something has changed. Their sensory system, their depth perception, their inner ear balance, even their joint cushioning. And if the home doesn't adapt to those changes, the risk grows quietly.
Quiet is the dangerous part. Because the body rarely gives a loud warning, it gives small signals. A wobble, a misstep, a brief moment of dizziness, and many seniors ignore those signals because they think they're normal. But they're not, they're messages. And if we ignore them, the body eventually forces us to listen through an emergency.
And that's why this episode matters so much. We're going to show people where those messages start, what happens inside the brain and body in those exact environments, and the small fixes that turn danger zones into safety zones. And we're going to do it in a way that's simple, uplifting, and possible for everyone.
Yes, but because aging should not mean shrinking your world, it should mean upgrading it, making the home a partner, not a hazard. And once seniors understand these 3 spots, their confidence returns. Their movement becomes easier, their stress lowers. It's the same transformation we've seen in episodes on memory, posture, supplements, and circulation. When seniors understand why something happens, they become unstoppable. And today, they will understand.
Perfect. Doctor, let's open the first location. The first spot in the home where most emergency calls begin, and why this place, more than any other, becomes a silent trap after 60. Doctor, let's dive straight in. The first danger zone in almost every senior's home, the bathroom, and I want listeners to hear this clearly. This is the #1 location for emergency calls after 60. Not because bathrooms are inherently dangerous, but because they combine three forces that challenge the aging body all at once: moisture, temperature shifts, and rapid posture changes. That mix overwhelms balance systems already working harder than they used to. The same way circulation slows down with age, as we discussed in our episode on calf pumping, the body's moment-to-moment adjustments also slow down. When you add water or steam to that equation, you get unpredictability.
Yes, and the bathroom is the perfect example of how physics defeats familiarity. The floor may look harmless, but water and soap residues reduce friction by more than half. After 60, the soles of the feet often lose sensation due to mild nerve decline or circulation changes. It becomes harder to sense the floor's texture. The body adjusts slower, just like how the nervous system reacts slower when posture collapses forward, something we explained in the episode on spinal alignment. So the senior thinks they're stepping onto a solid surface, but the brain reads that surface a fraction of a second too late. And in emergencies, a fraction of a second is everything.
What you're saying is critical. The danger isn't the bathroom, it's the delay in response time that aging introduces. That delay becomes even more pronounced after a hot shower. Some seniors walk out feeling lightheaded, dizzy, or floaty, and they write it off as normal. But physiologically, heat dilates blood vessels, drops blood pressure, and pulls blood toward the legs. The same mechanism responsible for swollen ankles or heavy legs, which we covered before, shows up here too. That sudden drop leaves the brain briefly undersupplied. And when vision fades for even a moment, balance collapses.
Exactly. And here is the uplifting part. The fix for this isn't complicated. It's not medication, not equipment, not expensive remodeling. It's awareness of the sequence. The danger appears not when stepping into the shower, but when stepping out. Because the sensory system is shifting from a warm, enclosed space to cooler air, the muscles are relaxed. The brain is recalibrating. This is when the body misjudges distance or speed. But if seniors pause just 3 seconds before taking that first step out, letting the blood redistribute and the brain catch up, the risk often drops immediately.
That pause is powerful. It's like giving the body permission to realign. And I want listeners to remember something else. The bathroom doesn't become safer with age. You make it safer through small changes in habit. Slow your transitions. Let your body reset. Honor the signals. And suddenly, what once felt like a trap becomes a place you move through confidently again.
Exactly. And once seniors understand the science behind these moments, fear melts away. They stop blaming age and start partnering with their body instead. Which brings us to the next danger zone, one that surprises almost everyone because it happens in the room we think we know best.
Doctor, the second danger zone is the one that surprises people the most, the kitchen. Seniors rarely think of it as a risky place because it's the room they move through the most. But that familiarity hides the danger. When I look at emergency charts, so many incidents start right here. Quick turns, reaching overhead, low drawers left open, a slippery patch near the sink. And what makes the kitchen uniquely challenging is how fast seniors tend to move in it. It's a task-driven room. You're turning, bending, grabbing, lifting. And as we've seen in studies on posture and circulation, the aging body struggles when movements go from zero to fast without warning.
Yes, John. And the biggest hidden danger in the kitchen is rotation. Not forward movement, not bending, but twisting. After 60, the spine becomes stiffer. The deep stabilizers that protect balance fire slower. This is the same neurological slowdown we discussed in posture episodes. When the spine loses coordination, the entire balance system becomes less responsive. In the kitchen, rotation happens constantly. You turn from stove to counter, sink to refrigerator, cupboard to table, and every turn is a moment where the feet and eyes move faster than the inner ear can track. That's when seniors lose orientation.
That rings true. I've heard countless stories from patients saying, I wasn't even doing anything risky. But when we break down the event, it's almost always a rapid twist. The mind focused on the task, not the movement. And something else happens in the kitchen that people underestimate. Blood pressure spikes and drops. Reaching overhead raises it. Bending down lowers it. That up and down pattern can make a senior feel foggy for just a second. But 1 second is all it takes for balance to slip. The same mechanism we saw when seniors step out of a warm shower. Blood redistribution creates a brief lag in clarity.
Exactly. And there's another element in kitchens that people overlook. Vision. Kitchens are filled with contrast, bright light from windows, dark countertops, shiny metal surfaces. After 60, the eyes take longer to adjust between light levels. A senior may turn quickly from a dark counter to bright sunlight and lose depth perception for a moment. That tiny pause in visual clarity becomes a risk, especially if they're holding something hot or walking around an open drawer. But as always, the solution is simple once you understand the cause.
So what's the fix? What's the one small shift seniors can make immediately?
Slow the turn. That's it. Seniors don't need to change the kitchen. They only need to change how they move through it. When you turn, lead with your eyes first, not your shoulders, not your feet. Let the eyes lock onto where you're going, then let the body follow. This single adjustment gives the inner ear time to stabilize and the brain time to orient the body. It's the same principle we used in posture routines. Slow, precise signals restore control.
That's a powerful and very doable shift. And it reinforces something we say all the time on this podcast. The body isn't failing. It's asking for rhythm. When seniors honor that rhythm, their confidence rises. They feel steadier. They move with intention instead of rushing on instinct. And suddenly the kitchen stops being a risky place and becomes a familiar room again, one that supports them. not surprises them.
Yes. And with the kitchen understood, that brings us to the final danger zone, the one that catches nearly every senior off guard because it doesn't look like a danger at all. It looks like the safest part of the home.
Doctor, this last danger zone surprises almost everyone because it looks completely safe. The hallway. No water, no heat, no appliances. Just a straight path through the home. But statistically, hallways are one of the most common places where seniors lose balance. And it confused me for years until I noticed the pattern. Hallways are transition zones. You walk through them when your mind is already somewhere else. You're thinking about the next room, the next task, the next step in your day. And when attention drifts ahead, the body loses its moment-to-moment stability. It's the same mechanism we've talked about with circulation. The body wants rhythm, but the hallway often interrupts it suddenly.
Yes, and there is a deeper reason hallways become risky after 60. The issue is not the space, it is the lighting. Hallways tend to be dimmer than other rooms. And after 60, the eyes need more light to interpret depth and distance. The retina receives signals more slowly. The brain takes longer to process contrast. In our episode on posture, we explained that when the spine stiffens and the neck pulls forward, the visual field narrows without people noticing. In a dim hallway, that narrowed field makes it harder to judge where the feet are. So even a subtle shift in shadow can look like a step. The brain misreads the floor, the foot hesitates, and balance collapses.
That explains why patients often tell me, I didn't trip on anything. They didn't. Their brain tripped. Hallways also create something else, momentum. It's one of the only places seniors tend to walk faster. Long, straight paths encourage speed. But after 60, speed without stability becomes a silent trap. The inner ear reacts slower. The ankles respond slower. We saw that same delayed response when we talked about seniors stepping out of the shower or twisting in the kitchen. The body needs a beat, and hallways don't offer it.
Exactly, and the combination of dim lighting and forward momentum creates a unique vulnerability. But here's the encouraging part. The solution is incredibly simple. Seniors only need one habit. Keep the eyes up. Most hallway falls happen because the gaze drops to the floor. When the head tips down, the center of gravity moves forward, pulling the body ahead of the feet. But when seniors lift their gaze even slightly, 10 degrees above neutral, the entire spine reorganizes. The deep neck muscles activate. The feet land more accurately. The brain receives cleaner signals. It's the same principle behind the posture routine we talked about earlier. Alignment sends clarity up the chain.
That's transformative. And it matches what I've seen clinically. When a senior lifts their gaze, even for a moment, their stride steadies immediately. Their step length becomes consistent. Their posture improves automatically. It's not effort, it's alignment. And I want everyone listening to hear this. Your hallway isn't the enemy, it's your autopilot. If your gaze drops or your mind rushes ahead, the hallway magnifies that mistake. But with one small shift, looking forward instead of down, you reclaim control.
Yes. And once this becomes a habit, the hallway transforms from a risk zone into a confidence zone. Seniors feel more grounded, more stable, more aware. And just like that, the final hidden danger becomes a pathway of safety again.
Doctor, now that we've broken down the 3 danger zones, I want to talk about something just as important. The early warning signs. The body whispers long before it shouts. And these whispers show up inside those danger zones in ways most seniors overlook. I hear patients say things like, I felt a little off, or my foot hesitated for just a second. They don't think it matters. But those moments matter more than anything. Because the body is sending a clear message. Your balance system is asking for help. We saw this in our episodes about circulation and posture. Tiny signals appear before major problems ever show up.
Yes, John. And the first sign seniors must never ignore is hesitation. That brief pause before stepping forward. It may feel like caution, but physiologically, it means the brain is recalibrating because it didn't fully trust the last signal it received. Maybe the floor looked uneven. Maybe the light changed. Maybe the inner ear lagged for a fraction of a second. That hesitation is not a weakness. It's an alarm, and when seniors ignore it, they force the body to move before the brain is ready. That's when accidents happen.
That's powerful because hesitation often feels harmless. Another early sign I want to highlight is the floaty feeling. Seniors describe it differently. Lightheaded, airy, detached, like their feet aren't connecting with the ground. And this is almost always a circulation signal. Blood pressure shifting, blood pooling in the legs, nerves firing slower. The same pattern we discussed when seniors step out of a hot shower. The brain needs a second to catch up. Ignoring that sensation is like ignoring a flashing light on the dashboard.
Exactly. And the third sign is something people brush off even more often. Visual fuzziness. A quick blur, a flicker. A moment when the room feels too bright or too dim. After 60, the eyes adapt slower. And when vision slips for even half a second, balance slips with it. This is the same mechanism behind forward head postures, impact on energy and cognitive clarity. The visual system strains, and the rest of the body compensates poorly. A single visual flicker tells us the brain is working harder than usual.
And here's a subtle one. Most seniors never connect to emergencies. Overthinking simple steps. When a person starts mentally narrating a movement they used to do automatically, let me step here, now turn, now reach. It means the brain is no longer running on smooth, automatic patterns. It's working manually. And manual mode is slower, more fragile, more easily disrupted by distraction or sudden movement.
Yes. And all these signs share one truth. The body is not failing, it is protecting you. These signals are invitations, not warnings. They're saying, slow down, reset, give me one breath, 1 second. And when seniors honor those signals, their body rewards them with stability, clarity, and confidence. When they ignore them, the risk grows silently. Understanding these signs is the key to preventing emergencies before they happen.
Doctor, now that we've covered the danger zones inside the home, I want to take seniors outside for a moment. Because the same habits that protect you in a bathroom, hallway, or kitchen also keep you safe on sidewalks, in grocery aisles, parking lots, and even during light outdoor walks. And I hear this from patients all the time. I'm fine indoors, but outdoors I feel unsteady. It's not weakness, it's transition. The same pattern we saw in circulation episodes holds true here. When the environment changes, the body needs a second to adapt, and most seniors don't give themselves that second.
Yes, and that pause is the foundation. Whether you're stepping out of your car, walking into a store, or moving from sunlight into shade, the body needs a brief recalibration. Seniors who rush from one light level to another often describe that floaty feeling, especially when stepping onto a curb. The eyes take longer to adjust after 60. The brain takes longer to judge surface depth. We saw the same thing in posture episodes. Forward head posture narrows the visual field and slows sensory processing. Outdoors, that becomes even more important because the ground isn't always predictable.
That's so true. And here's something many listeners may not realize. The safest habit outdoors is to do the same thing you practiced in the hallway. Eyes up first, not down at the feet, not scanning the ground nervously, but forward with intention. When a senior lifts their gaze, their spine reorganizes, their torso stabilizes, their stride becomes more even. We've seen this in mobility research and in our own clinical experiences. When the visual system leads the movement, the rest of the body falls into alignment.
And once the eyes lead, the next step is rhythm. Seniors should never walk outdoors in silence. Not mentally, at least. They need a walking rhythm. Slow inhale, slow exhale, gentle heel-to-toe motion. The body loves predictability. In our circulation episodes, this rhythmic movement is exactly what wakes up the calf pump and stabilizes blood flow in the legs. Outdoors, this rhythm prevents sudden drops in blood pressure that make the world tilt for a second.
That rhythm also gives seniors something incredibly important: control. When your breath leads and your steps follow, distractions don't shake you. A dog barking, A car door slamming, a gust of wind. The brain stays centered instead of jolting. And here's another outdoor tip seniors overlook. Slow transitions. Before stepping off a curb, count to 2. Before turning into an aisle at the grocery store, let your eyes lock onto the next point first. It's not hesitation, it's preparation.
Exactly, and preparation builds confidence. Once seniors practice this rhythm, eyes up, slow transitions, steady breath, they begin to feel grounded again. Even outdoors, their movements become smoother, their steps lighter, and their fear decreases. Because the world didn't get safer, they got steadier. And when steadiness becomes a habit, errands, walks, and outdoor moments become enjoyable again, not stressful.
Doctor, when you look at everything we uncovered today, the bathroom, the kitchen, the hallway, it almost feels like the home is speaking. Quietly, repeatedly. And the moment a senior starts listening, everything changes.
Yes, John, because the home doesn't become safer on its own. It becomes safer the moment you understand how your body moves through it. Once that awareness clicks, the walls, the floors, even the light stops working against you. They begin working with you.
And that's the part I want every listener to carry into the rest of their day. Your strength isn't disappearing. It's reorganizing. Your balance isn't fading. It's asking for attention. And the home you've lived in for years still has one more secret most people never discover.
The secret isn't the place, it's the pattern.
And if you think today's 3 danger zones were surprising, wait until you hear what happens in the one room almost no senior ever questions.